It is bracket selection time. I know we're all frustrated, but where is Wisconsin going to land? Let's react and celebrate and discuss it together. Let's go.
You are Locked On Badgers, your daily podcast on the Wisconsin Badgers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Locked On Badgers, your team every single day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. And all right, so sorry. We are going live. We got the selection show going on right now. We're going to react to it. Obviously, people are still frustrated about what just happened, but we did a mini show to try to get some of that frustration out. We will talk about that game more today. Rajiv, I'm sure you have thoughts, but ultimately, this is a celebration of where Wisconsin is going to be in this tournament. All right, let's go. Rajiv, what do you got?
Dude, Michigan, first of all, Louisville's an 8 seed, which is surprising. Michigan just got a 5. Michigan just was given the 5 seed in the South. They are playing in Denver, and they are playing the 12 seeded. They haven't announced it yet. That's actually crazy. I'm happy. Like, the thing is, the committee really, so they're playing UC San Diego. That's first Big Ten team. We'll definitely talk about all the Big Ten teams for sure. The thing is, Michigan was really seemed to be locked in at the 5, based on where they were, their resume. It's all about the resume. I know that today's loss, people were thinking, okay, are they going to take our 3 seed? They're clearly not. As I said yesterday, I'll say again, I think Wisconsin's locked at the 3, and I think we're playing in Milwaukee, which, by the way, is Friday. So if we get Milwaukee, we get an extra day of rest, which is nice. So I like it. Yep. Texas A&M 4 seed. So yeah, I mean, this is going to be really exciting. So they're doing the South region right now, and Auburn's number 1 overall seed. I hope to be in the West because Wisconsin has always been to the Final Four out of the West, by the way. So hopefully we can get that. But so excited, dude. March Madness is here. The game sucked. We just shot so horribly. Like, what are you going to do when you shoot that bad? Like, okay, 6-11 in Milwaukee, Ole Miss. So we do have a 3 seed coming in Milwaukee on Friday. Could be us.
That's got to be us, right?
It has to be us, actually. Friday in Milwaukee. They're about to announce it. Ole Miss is the 6. San Diego State or North Carolina is the 11. North Carolina got in the tournament. That's pretty surprising, by the way.
Yeah, they were on the last 4 out, last I saw. So they're about to announce the number 3 in Milwaukee.
I'm really surprised that North Carolina was able to get in at an 11, which is fine. That's great. Let's see if we get this 3. Iowa State. Okay, so not us. But listen, that's okay. Remember, guys, there's 2 groupings in every city, right? So while Iowa State got one, which we kind of knew, I said the other day that Iowa State and Wisconsin are probably the top 4 seeds that are going to get Milwaukee, because when you look at all the pod sites, all the other teams, a lot of the top 4 seeds are in the South. They're going to get the Raleigh, Lexington, those sites. We're probably okay. So the next time you see Milwaukee pop up on the screen, that should be us. I'm hoping it's a 3. However, Ryan, it could be a 4-5. Are you bothered if we get a 4-5?
Oh, I kind of am.
Yeah.
With our resume, I kind of feel like this is a resume for a 3. I kind of am. By the way, Marquette just got a 7 seed. I kind of am bothered.
Michigan State too.
Yeah, that makes sense. I kind of am bothered, man. And by the way, like everything you've said in Joel Dobble, sorry, I'm flustered still. Doing that game, and then I think there was way too much negativity. Again, this is only my opinion. I think there's way too much negativity after that Michigan loss. That's only my opinion. But Joel nails it. Conference tournaments don't mean as much as people think they do. That being said, I wanted to win. Like, make no mistake. I was into that.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, look, I think at the end of the day, I know they're going to take a break probably after the South region. So to recap, Michigan's a 5, Michigan State's a 2, which is no surprise so far. I am a little surprised by Michigan's seed, but overall, and we talked about this yesterday, I feel like they kind of lock these things in. The Big Ten tournament is the last game that ends before Selection Sunday. Not a lot happens with it. It's just not. I mean, generally, if it's like a team that's going to be in or out, that's different. But when that's seeding, I think that's kind of locked. By beating Michigan State, I think we solidified a 3. So it's likely going to be 2 different 3-6 matchups in Milwaukee, hopefully. If we see 4-5, we'll take it. But I think Milwaukee's most important thing. For me, Milwaukee is better than seed. Where are you at on that? Would you rather be a 4 in Milwaukee or a 3 somewhere else? What's your take on that?
That's not. So to me, and it's interesting that we are on different sides of this. To me, that's not even. To me, it's easily a 3. I want to be the 3. 100%. Listen, I think it's not like we've won every time we've gone in into Milwaukee either. And to your point, we've had tremendous success in the West. You know, I think, and Bo actually has a comment up here, it matters a little more who you play than where you play. So I like the pathing for a 3, because down the road that also sets you up for an easier path. So to me, it's the 3 over Milwaukee. Now, the crown jewel is the 3 in Milwaukee.
You know, yeah, here's my take on it. Like, I think it's really momentum. Like with this team, right? This team is all around shooting, right? I feel like the home environment can really elevate our team, considering we're a streaky shooting team. You got a lot of veteran guys. I think that home floor, like I've been to tournament games in Milwaukee and it's like 70% red. That's pretty awesome. And whoever plays us in Milwaukee is going to be just furious about it. So I want that. And I would take the 4 in Milwaukee over a 3 anywhere else, because I think it's important. Now, again, I've looked at all the first 8 locations. I've mapped them all out. I've looked at all the top 4 seeds. I would be shocked if we didn't get Milwaukee, because they try to give those seeds their preferential location. You look at, there's a lot of SEC teams in that group, right? A lot of SEC teams. So when you look at that, they're probably going to be getting Lexington, Raleigh, even Wichita for like Houston, Michigan State. I think they're in Cleveland. I don't see where they were. I think they were, but someone can correct me if I'm wrong. Like you're going to, there are other places. Only Iowa State and Wisconsin are in the top 4 seeds. Really makes sense in Milwaukee. So we should be there.
Joel, so a couple of people on both sides of this. Joel says Milwaukee would be better. I love this point. This is a great point, because you don't have the underdog getting all the home crowd support, which always happens out when it's a neutral location. That's a great point. Up here, another one on the other side, Will Hanna says, I just rather want the good matchup. I think there's truth on both sides of that, but I think that point from Joel is really a very solid one, where in any other situation, the 13 seed, the 12 seed, the whatever is going to be getting all of that crowd love. They're going to be getting juiced up. In Milwaukee, that's not going to happen. It's going to be a Badger Pro crowd. So
you're so right. And the other thing I would say is that Milwaukee is Friday, which I'm telling you, we played 4 games in 4 days. We saw the fatigue on this team today. We saw it, and I don't like, that's tough, right? So an extra day, I'll take it all day long. I'm really hoping we play Friday. Even if we don't make Milwaukee, I don't want to play Thursday. I actually hate playing Thursday, because then I feel like if something bad happens, then I don't want to watch Friday's games. And I like to enjoy the first round of the tournament. It's one of the best days of basketball. So if we play Friday, I can enjoy Thursday, sit back, relax, enjoy the day, and then Friday be stressed out beyond belief about whether the Badgers are actually going to get a victory.
I have the same theory with college football games. I like the Badgers playing late on a Saturday, so I can watch the Saturday and be stressed. Hey, we're going to take a quick break here because they're on a commercial, and this is a good opportunity for a quick break for our friends of the show to come back and continue talking about this. Today's episode brought to you by our great friends over at Supply House. Supply House is incredible. A lot of handy people I talk about all the time listen to this show. Supply House hooks you up with all of the HVAC plumbing supplies that you need, whether you're doing electrical work, whatever it is. That's the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources, over 200,000 parts from 400 top brands. Whatever you're doing on the house, whether you're doing it yourself or you're in business, Supply House is here for you. You'll find exactly what you need. And Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service. So you'll always talk to a real person like us, like me and Richie. We're real people. We're not AI. Join the Trademaster program today at supplyhouse.com/TM. Start ordering plumbing, HVAC, electric supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promotional code SH5 for 5% off your first order at supplyhouse.com. Today's episode also brought to you by our great friends over at WayFair. WayFair is absolutely incredible. Everything you need to stock your house, to new couches, new bedding, patio furnitures, whatever you need to make it an incredible experience and environment is available over at WayFair. I bought my couch on WayFair from Supply Delivery. The site is made to compare styles, and your order arrives quickly. Head over to wayfair.com, find something that's just for your style today. It's WAYFAIR.com. WayFair, every style for every home. Let's jump back into this as they're announcing the East region. Duke, the number one there.
Yeah. I don't think I expect to see us in the East. Like, obviously the regions don't really matter that much, but we have had 3 Final Four runs out of the West region. Won't make a difference for Milwaukee. Those are pod sites. Doesn't matter where you are, but really hoping we get the West. Also, the West regional is in San Francisco. I'm going to try to make that trip if we get to Sweet 16. So that'll be really fun. But yeah, man. So hopefully we don't see us now. They're doing 4-5 next in Seattle. I want no part of that. I don't think we'll be there. Honestly, Ryan, I try to tell you, I think that win against Michigan State solidified us. By the way, Oregon just got a 5 seed. That's pretty good for the Big Ten again. Happy, and I think that's good. Great location for them, by the way. Seattle, Oregon, that's going to be good. Tough match. Oh, Liberty. I mean, I don't know anything about Liberty, so who knows?
I don't either. That's the other thing with the show is there's going to be a ton of like we might end up getting matched up with somebody where we're both like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't have a clue. Like I don't know anything.
It's fun to like look at the whole path, right? Like I love. So by the way, I've got a couple selection show traditions. Arizona just got a 4. We beat them, so that's good. What a 4-5 matchup there. Arizona, Oregon. That's a little nuts if they both win that. I have a tradition that I've had for as long as I can remember. I eat pizza rolls during the selection show, so I've got Totino's pizza rolls right here in front of me, and you will see me eat them. So sorry, I normally don't eat on the show, but I will during selection show because it's pretty great. Don't think we're gonna be here. This is the 6-3 matchup in Denver. Hopefully we don't get Denver. BYU just got the 6, so we'll see. Man, this is stressful. Do you feel? Let me ask you this while we're kind of like watching some of these. I kind of am glad we got a bad shooting day out of the way, Ryan. Like, had we gone into the tournament with a super hot streak, I would have been a little worried about it. We're going to have a cold day. Today was our cold day. I'm kind of okay with it. Like, I'm not okay with losing. I don't like losing, but I feel like we kind of got that out of the way. Let's go into the NCAA tournament a little more hot. I'm okay with it.
I feel like that's compartmentalizing a loss. Where if we had shot 60% today, you'd be like, "We are so hot. I love it. We're on a heater."
We got Denver. What the heck? Denver? Are you kidding me?
Wisconsin's in Denver as the 3. They're about to announce who Wisconsin's playing as the 14 seed. So we did get the 3. Wisconsin is playing Montana. Don't know anything about Montana.
What happened to Milwaukee? How did we lose Milwaukee?
And that also means it's a Thursday game.
That's brutal, by the way. That's absolutely brutal. I'm really upset about that. I know that you said you would rather be a 3 in Milwaukee, so I can respect 3 somewhere else than a 4 Milwaukee. I would have taken the 4 Milwaukee. I'm actually really upset about that. Like BYU as a 6 seed, mind you, like that's closer to Denver. Like there are a lot of BYU fans in Colorado. That's not going to be very great. Montana, by the way, very close to Denver too. So there's that. Like that's a tough situation. I don't know about Denver. I'm in Montana. We'll learn about Montana, but I'm surprised by that. And Alabama's the 2. So if we get to the Sweet 16, we're likely playing Alabama, who lost to Florida yesterday. Florida pretty much locked up the final number 1 seed. Wow.
Now let's be honest.
I'm not happy about this.
In any 2 seed you're going to match up with is going to be a bear.
Yeah.
We're going to have to look at Montana. We are in Denver on a Thursday. Wisconsin does get the 3 seed. Again, like ultimately the best case was 3 in Milwaukee. Like we're on the same page there. I do prefer the 3 over a 4. I would have liked to play Friday. Now, listen, we'll have to look up Montana, but as you said, there's going to be more Montana fans there in that area. And I guarantee you Montana didn't just play 4 games against the likes of Michigan, Michigan State. Doesn't feel like the greatest poll, brother, to be honest.
I mean, look, it's a 3 seed. It's great. It's fine, right? But I really value those first round games in Milwaukee because it matters. It does to me. And I know we haven't really got to the Sweet 16 coming out of Milwaukee. I hear that. People have reminded me of that many times. But I still want that home game. Now, Denver is a great city. I know there's a lot of Badgers out west. It's not too far from me. I'm not going to make that trip. But yeah, I mean, I think the Thursday thing might be the thing that's most concerning about that because it's Sunday and we just had 4 games in 4 days. Yikes.
Yeah, although let me pause that for a second because you had 4 games in 4 days, and now you're going to have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Like you have a 3-day break. That's fine. These are college kids, college athletes. Nobody's dinged up. A 3-game break is fine, right? Like nobody is going to, if you do drop an early game, say it's because I don't know. I think that's fine. I think the resting gets a little overplayed a little bit. They're going to have 3 days. I think playing in Mile High, playing in that altitude against teams that are from that area might be a little tricky. I don't know if I'm overthinking that, Rajiv. Is it like Mile High? Is that a bigger deal than people make a big deal out of that? Is that actually a big deal? I don't know. They'll get there early to acclimate though. Yeah,
they need to spend some time to shoot around, make sure they can feel that a bit. But yeah, it's a little strange. It's a little strange. What I'm really surprised by is who gets Milwaukee. Like, what is the other top seed that gets Milwaukee? because I tell you, that's very surprising to me. But and listen, I'm sure we have Colorado fans listening to this. Good for you. Go to the game, make the environment awesome. Denver's a great city. So if you are going to consider traveling to that, that's cool. Now we are in the East, which stinks because that means if we go to the Sweet 16, we're actually in Jersey. So that's that. If you guys remember that, we was Madison Square Garden where we lost that Florida game. I was at that game. Yikes. So don't love that we're in the East, but still really bullish about our chances for the Sweet 16. I mean, like I said, haven't looked at Montana, VCU, or BYU. We'll certainly be breaking that all down this week. But you got to like our chances being one of the top scoring teams in the country. Our defensive efficiency rating has gone up. We're now 32nd in the country, at least before this game, for defensive efficiency. We have improved a bit defensively. I think today, rebounding, what a great day for rebounding the ball, by the way. So there are things to point to. If we would have shot today like we shot in the last couple games, we would have blown Michigan out. There's no doubt about that. So I think there's still some confidence here. At the end of the day, we're 3. We're still playing a 14. We need to win that game. There can't be a loss in the first round.
There's not going to be. I'm just going to go on a limb. Like, this team's not going to. I'm just going to go on a limb and say that. Like, this team has Steven Crowell, who was part of the JMU team. Blackwell, that loss. Klesmit, McGee. They're not losing to Montana. I'm sorry. I know people are going to make – and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll come on the show the next day like I always do and sit in front of a camera and have people yell at me in the chat. They're not losing to Montana. Okay? Let's just be straight up on this. Realist, by the way, is in that area. He said he's going to go to the game. That's amazing. Nice. Go crush it, man. He said he lives in Denver.
Michael says, Rajiv, jinxing the Badgers, chance in the tourney. Are you talking Sweet 16? No, definitely not. I'm worried about that. I do think we're going to get there. And I think that's fair because I think we're a very good team and we should get there. I think, will we get there? Of course, nobody knows. We absolutely could lose, but I think we should. This is one of those situations where we're like, we need to prove that we can play in the tourney similar to the way we played in this tournament. Like, we just beat UCLA, Michigan State, really went wire to wire with Michigan too, just couldn't get it done. So those are 3 good games. There's not going to be a team we play next weekend that's better than Michigan State. That is a fact. Okay. Montana, VCU, BYU, whoever we play, they're not as good as Michigan State, and they're probably not as good as UCLA. So we need to be able to do it in that tournament. Not a favorable location, but doesn't matter. Like, let's get it done. We're the better team. We have to be able to show that, right? I mean, we have to do that.
Was it some payback on Bama? Yeah, again for the football season, maybe. Steve says Kentucky will get the 3 seed in Milwaukee. You mentioned Khan coming back to play in state as we get booted out to Colorado.
Yeah, I was thinking about Kentucky. Lexington is one of the sites, so they can't get Lexington. I assume they'd get Raleigh potentially, which I know where Duke is probably going, but or Wichita. I am or Cleveland even. I thought Milwaukee was safe from Kentucky, but you're probably right. They probably will get Milwaukee.
Yeah, Philip again says Badgers struggle shooting when they're fatigued. Go to Mile High in Denver. Again, I don't really fully know how big of a deal the Mile High impact is. I don't feel like I really know. Like, is it that big of a deal? I don't know. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't actually think that is that big of a deal. I think it's more of a big deal when you, like, I've golfed in Milwaukee a couple times. In Denver. So, like, golfing, the ball just goes a little bit farther. Your baseball, ball goes a little farther. Basketball, I really don't think that's really going to affect your shooting. I think it's all more about, like, getting used to the arena and that kind of thing. But Houston's another number 1 seed. That's not a surprise. But yeah, I'm not putting too much stock in that. I think we just have to go out there and show what we're going to do. But boy, Thursday, yikes, Thursday. Also, just because I want to enjoy the games on Thursday and not be stressed out about the Badgers.
Which, it's also a great feeling on Friday, though. If you win that Thursday game, then you've already got past it. Now you can sit back, enjoy heading into the weekend. That's not a bad place to be either. By the way, I'm looking up right now Houston or Montana. I'm going to give you guys a snapshot of what they're really good at. Offensively, okay. They are in the 95th percentile offensively among all possessions.
Oh, that's lovely.
1.033 points per possession. So really good offensive team. Great in transition. Really good against man defense. That bodes well for us. Let's look at them defensively really quick. I'm guessing, yeah. So defensively, this is a bad defensive team. They're in the 27th percentile, giving up 0.94 points per possession. Horrifically bad with their man defense. Really bad in post defense. Bad in stopping shooters. So it sounds like an offensive team that doesn't D up. Essentially, we're going to dig deeper into Montana, but that's the 30,000 foot view.
Yeah, I mean, I think the interesting thing is like, here's the question: can we win a game? Like, look, obviously Tanjay shot horrifically today. Nobody shot well. It's surprising that everyone shot poorly, right? Like you would think somebody, like I honestly, I even texted you earlier. I'm like, this feels like wow. Purdue 4 seed in Providence, by the way. Purdue 4 seed in Providence. Good for them. Good for them getting a 4. I am surprised that, like, I kind of thought Max would have a great game today. I could see this game being a Max nuclear type game. He's desperately needed that, but everyone was bad. Can we win a game when we just aren't shooting that well? Do we have the defensive chops, the rebounding chops, the interior post offense chops to get that done? What are your thoughts on that?
Yes. I think we can. And I think today is the evidence of it. We lost, but that's a game against a really good team where we shot horrifically and we were right there at the end. Game's right there at the end. So I'll tell you this. People, because it's easy to do, and I've done this, I'm not perfect in this. People consistently, Illinois with a 6, by the way.
In Milwaukee. Get the heck out of here.
We're about to see who the 3 in Milwaukee is, by the way, the other 3. I'm curious if this is going to be Kentucky.
It could be. Wow. I mean, Illinois, that's a pretty favorable location for Illinois. And I'll tell you what, if I'm the 3, whoever that 3 is, I'm not happy about that because I got to play 6 against Illinois, and that's going to be very difficult for them to do. Wow. And it's a playing game. Texas too, Kentucky. There it is. Interestingly enough, North Carolina and Texas were both on the first 4 out for Joe Lunardi and a couple other CBS projections. They both got in, which is really surprising, which means Indiana surely not getting in at this point, it looks like, because Texas and North Carolina got in. So yeah, if I'm Kentucky, I'm not very happy about that. But what happened clearly, here's what I think could have happened, guys. I think Kentucky could have bumped up over Wisconsin as a higher 3 seed, which means they got a bit more preferential and as far as location. And the other thing is, you have to remember this: with Illinois being a 6, you can't play the Big Ten in the round of 32. So maybe they were like, look, we want to give Wisconsin a 3. We got to push them out somewhere else, even though we want to give Milwaukee. Like the committee has to do a lot of these crazy things to keep conference rules and rules about when you can play your conference, which can't happen until I think the Elite 8 even potentially. Yeah. So there's some rules there. But you actually know it's going to be sweet. Well, potentially Sweet 16. UCLA is a 7 seed playing against Tennessee at the 2. So that's interesting. I was surprised that UCLA they were projected to have like a 6 or 7 seed. I thought they were, frankly, I think they're a little better than that. I'm surprised. That's a tough 7 seed.
That is a tough 7 seed. We've seen that. Let me finish up really quick on my last point. I think people overreact to the last minute and a half of a game. That it just happens. So yeah, I think we can absolutely win with a poor shooting game because we could have won today against a really good team with a horrific shooting game. So yes, I think the answer is to that question is yes. Now, certainly the path for this team, the most successful path for this team, is to play to our strengths, which is shooting the ball. All right, let's take a quick break here as they're discussing. This region's been announced. We're going to take a quick second, come back with our friends of the show, and then come back and talk about final thoughts. I also want to ping Rajiv just a little bit more on that Michigan game and get his full thoughts there because we haven't had a chance to fully talk about it. That's coming up next. Locked On Badgers. First, a quick second for our friends of the show. Oh, and listen, there's a good friend I go to, Rajiv, when I have tough losses. There's a good friend I go to. It's called food. Food is a comfort for me. And Factor helps me go to that friend, but it's not a toxic friend. Like, Factor helps me eat healthy, eat smart over just a ton of options, a ton of varieties, chef-prepared meals. They're incredible. They deliver them to your door. You pop them in the microwave, hit the 2 minutes, comes out, and it is a it is a real cooked meal for you. That's healthy, delicious. Factor right now. Head over to factormeals.com/LockedOnCollege50 off. Use code LockedOnCollege50 off to get 50% off your first order. That's factormeals.com, LockedOnCollege50 off. Use code LockedOnCollege50 off to get 50% off your first order. It is incredible. Plus, you get free shipping on that first order. They are incredible and awesome. Today's episode also brought to you by our good friends, and I'm going to let Rajiv go in on this one, over at FanDuel. FanDuel, this is the time, man, to get it. I always say do it responsibly, but Rajiv, this is the time to use FanDuel.
It's so fun, man. Like, the lines will come out probably in the next couple days. You'll be able to see Thursday's lines. And for me, I like to go there in places in Vegas. They have watch parties everywhere. I like to go there and I can pull it up on my phone right there and just make in-game bets, which I love doing. And you can hedge a little bit, right? So maybe you lost a little bit earlier. You got to hedge. You can, if you like a game a lot, you can parlay that with another one you're unsure about to really kind of help that pay out. So a lot of good options. The best time to place bets is March Madness. I can't think of any better time to do it than right now. And the bonus offer is great, by the way. Hit that up.
$150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet over at FanDuel.com. Head over to FanDuel.com, the official sports betting partner of the NBA and the Locked On Podcast Network. All right, let's jump back into this. Rajiv, while they're on a commercial break, give me your final thoughts on Michigan. Like, I've kind of put mine out there. A lot of people in the chat, and again, I always say this, my opinion is not the opinion, it's just my opinion. A lot of the people in chat are more frustrated than I am. Where are you at on this Michigan game?
We shot 17% from three, 22% overall. That is why we lost the game. I thought that the shots we did get were good shots, and sometimes those just aren't going to fall. I'm not that upset about it. I said a couple of days ago, I'm like, I wanted to beat Northwestern. UCLA was a kind of a neutral game. Everything after that was house money. I know people disagreed, like, oh, we want to win. I want to win too. But next week means way more to me than this tournament did. Even winning the championship today, I would take a Sweet 16 any day of the week over winning the game today. Now, I'm not saying it's an automatic correlation, but I do think we did the little things well. The rebounding was fantastic. Like, multiple times they talked about how, Golden and Wolf did not get a lot of second chance looks. That's impressive. That team destroyed us on the boards. The pick and roll destroyed us last time. We cleaned things up. We just didn't make shots. The decision-making was a little poor at times. I thought we settled for way too many threes. I mean, Tanjay's heat check from like 8 feet back. I'm like, what are you doing that? But the little things were pretty good. I think Carter Gilmore had another game where he did a lot of little things well, played some really tough defense at times, getting a couple blocks. Like, we're okay. It's all about how you bounce back. And I was fearful that the same thing that happened to us last year was going to happen this year. We had this massive big game against the number 1 seed in the semifinals. We beat them, and we kind of ran out of gas for the final. And that's exactly what happened. We ran out of gas for the final, and I don't think there was really anything we could do. If we would have made shots, we would have crushed this team. We just missed. It's okay because it's not March Madness. That's my take on it. Except the little things that we did well, which the rebounding, if that translates to next week, that's going to bode really well for us.
Well, that's something you specifically have talked about all year. It's one of your frustrating points is rebound the ball. We got to be better. We got to be tougher. We got to be more consistent there. Bro, like, you could tell today with all the shots that Michigan missed, because they were laying bricks as well. We were both sides were building a village out of the bricks we were missing. Michigan was unable to, until the last minute and a half. How funny is the sports work, right, where they get 3 straight possessions? But they did a great job on the defensive glass today.
I had a feeling at that point in the game, I was really upset. I'm like, boy, they've literally got like 4 straight possessions. I'm like, we're not getting the ball back until they score points, sadly. And that's exactly what happened. And that's really much where the game was won. And then we missed 2 like shots. Like, Tanjay should have made his bucket. That's a shot he makes so often. John Blackwell, the shot that he missed, that's a shot he makes like 80% of the time. It just wasn't going our way today. And I know that some people want like us to be more bothered by it. I'm just not, because this is my focus now. The NCAA tournament is where I'm at. It's okay. It's okay. Like, we had a good season. If you look at the season in general, it was a good season. If you look at the Big Ten tournament in general, good Big Ten tournament. I mean, again, we got to the final for the 2nd straight year, be the number 1 seed for the 2nd straight year. Take the wins there. We're a 3 seed. We've improved on last year. We just got to do it now. We have to do it now.
Mark says, proud of this Badger Hoops team. They played well. It's hard to play your 3rd game in 3 days. It's brutal. Bo says, I think we got a good draw. So listen, I think you have to beat Montana, and gosh help us if that doesn't go that direction on shows and conversations after it. But I don't think BYU or I forget who even the other part of BYU is. By the way,
VCU, I think.
Maryland getting a 4 seed, by the way, as well. Yeah, I don't think it's a bad draw. I guess I like the 3. Obviously, potentially playing Bama in the Sweet 16 is a tough pick, but you're not going to have an easy number 2 seed. There's no 2 seed out there that's a layup, so whatever.
Yeah, it's fine. The Alabama thing doesn't bother me at all. I think we're good with that. I'm interested to see what this Missouri is a 16 in Wichita. That's another place we could have potentially ended up. But I would rather, guys, again, I'm going to learn a lot about BYU. I'm really curious about that team. BYU is always a good shooting team. They've got good shooters out there. They always do. And we're going to, as I said for the last couple of weeks, we're going to face a team that lights it up from 3. Like Montana, I think you just said that they're a pretty good offensive team. Like, these mid-major teams, the only way they can really close that talent gap is by shooting the three. The 3-point is an equalizer with the talent gap from the mid-majors to the big teams. And if you come across a team that shoots over 50% from three as a mid-major, you absolutely are going to lose that game, or you could lose it. You have to do it well yourself. So, I mean, it's okay. I think that we have to shoot better. Hopefully we got our cold streak out of the way there. And the day today is something that we can quickly forget, get some rest. And I do think, Ryan, this team's going to be motivated after what happened last year. I know it's some new players, but you know that Greg Gard hears all the things that we say, that everyone says about like the Sweet 16, the lack thereof. I think this team's going to be laser focused on winning this 4-team battle in Denver.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think that's going to be an issue at all. Bo says the Badgers need to play like a bully. A lot of people in here really like BYU. Realist says BYU beats us, by the way. Mike up here says nobody that has seen BYU play thinks this is a good draw. I'm going to be honest, I haven't seen BYU play.
Yep.
I'm not going to ever blow smoke to you guys. EJ says BYU can shoot. They need to play D to win. Yeah, like we're definitely going to dig into BYU. I definitely believe everything you guys are telling us. And I don't expect an easy game from a 6. Like that's it. Or what? Not BYU. What is BYU's?
BYU's a 6. Yeah, BYU's a 6. Yeah.
It shouldn't be an easy game. Kansas with the 7, by the way. Arkansas with the 10 out in the West. St. John's gets the 2.
Yeah. Comment here from Mike Witt. I think the loss to Penn State hurt us. I think it. At the end of the day, if you told me before the Penn State game that we were going to get a 3 seed, I would have been like, cool. I would have taken that. I didn't think we were really going to get to the 2. I think in retrospect, we could have got to the 2 had we won that game, and had we done what we did in the Big 2 tournament, maybe we would have got to the 2 line. But I think the 3 seed is good. Whether it hurt us in Milwaukee or not, that's a question. They're not going to ask that question. I wish they did, but obviously, we're never really going to know. But I'm going to take the 3 seed because that's fine. So in the end, I don't think the Penn State game really hurt us that much. Yeah.
Thomas Miller says, I'm more interested if Owen Freeman gets added to the team. We're already starting to talk some offseason. They're not going to pay up for Owen Freeman. I would love it. That's shopping at the top of the barrel, and Wisconsin's just not going to be there. Michael, and this is where I'm at too. Let's worry about Montana, and then we'll get to BYU. Yeah, got to beat Montana first, which I think they will. Montana looks like a good offensive team that can play D. I think we should be able to beat them. Again, that's without really watching them play. Any other thoughts on this, Rajiv, as they kind of finish up their show here? Ultimately, I want to start here. I almost want to rewind a little bit. Let's understand in perspective what this team did this year. A team that we talked about at the beginning of the year. Are they going to make the tournament? Like that was the bar. And you and I both said they would, but they're a 3 seed. We're talking about, should they have gotten a more preferential 3 seed? This has been, we'll see what happens in March. Everyone acknowledges last year was unacceptable. This has been a tremendously successful year up to this point. You kind of hit on it. They had a good regular season, a good Big Ten tournament, but even just hitting on it, I don't think that is enough of an emphasis. This was a great year up to this point.
Yeah. And, I really hope that we can pay that off and get to the Sweet 16, because it will be forgotten. The year will be forgotten if in one loss to Montana, just like last year's 5 seed is forgotten very quickly because of the loss to James Madison. And that's just going to happen. It's going to happen that way. By the way, 14 SEC teams. Are you kidding me? I would love to see the SEC go like 3-11 in weekend 1. That'd be fantastic. But 8 Big Ten teams, by the way, got in. It was a fantastic season. And you're talking about back-to-back years now of a 5 and now a 3 seed, which really means that you got to do that. You got to get to Sweet 16, because if you do, how great will the season then frame up, right? A Sweet 16 always frames the season up really strong. You always look back at that and say, yeah, we finished in the top 16. We had a shot at going to the Elite 8. We're going to be in that game. Like it matters to me that we get there. And I've been really focused on that because I, like you, am not a guard out person. We certainly have had a lot of discussions with Justin, who's kind of in the middle now, but like it's tough to defend the guard situation when he loses in the first round, which is why I want so badly for him to get to the Sweet 16, because it's just like it will kind of stop that pressure. I also want to quickly add AJ Storr, 7 seed in this tournament. Chucky Hepburn, 8 seed in this tournament. Just saying, buddy.
AJ, though, I've said this consistently on AJ. I'll say it for Hepburn, too. Hepburn has played great this year. Like, he's
amazing.
Ball out. Like, he's like 16-5-4 on pretty efficient shooting. You can argue he made a good decision because his numbers have across the board have gone up at Louisville. Now, this offense this year, you could argue, well, it would have happened at Wisconsin. We don't know. He's having the best career of his college, or best season of his college career. AJ, I think. No, we'll put that coming up. I actually want to hit on that one too. AJ, while this isn't the year he wanted, I think the warts are starting to show at the end of last year for Wisconsin, and he made $1 million. Like, to me, he made a great decision. And if listen, you pay me $1 million to go from being a 3 seed to a 7 seed, cool. like that's yeah, I'm okay with that. So I think both made fine decisions. I would love to have Pepper back on this team. I'm totally cool without AJ. Great comment you put up here, and let's talk about it. Badger and Bournemouth says the season was already a success.
It was, but I am still really like tied to what happens in the Montana game because I just feel like nothing will crush your season more than losing that particular game. Now, even losing to BYU won't be as bad. But I will agree with you, Badger Bournemouth. I will agree that this is definitely, as the season was a success. We were picked to finish 12th in the conference. We finished tied for 4th. We went to the finals of the Big Ten tournament for the 2nd straight year. The most offensive production this team has had since the 2015 season. We got one of the best transfers in the country in John Tonje, first team All Big Ten. Blackwell was 3rd team All Big Ten. Like, yeah, I mean, it's a successful season for sure. I'm not going to argue that, but it will be a soured successful season if we lose to Montana.
This one's a tricky question. At the beginning of the year, yes, this would have been successful, but as you are better than you realize you are, expectations also raise, right? You have to understand, like you can't be happy with the better team and then not raise your expectations a little bit alongside that. So I think if you lose in the first round, yes, it's a successful year, but man, you can't lose in the first round. I don't know how else to word that. Like, you can't lose in the first round as a 3 seed to a 14 after losing in the first round as a 5 seed to a 12. Like, you have to win that game. But yeah, like ultimately teams would kill for this year. Well, let's not kid ourselves. This is one of the 15 best teams in college basketball. Let's not kid ourselves. It's incredible. Really quick here. I don't know if you've seen this or not. Christian Gross said they switched the Denver games to Friday. I'm not sure.
I have not seen that, Christian, but I sure hope you're right. I don't know how that's even possible because they generally keep that locked in, but we will check and we'll try to get back. Yeah, I would love that. I would love that because we desperately need to not play on Thursday. But I'm surprised. I don't know how they would really do that. But ultimately, the schedule comes out later tonight, and that's when like the times are set too. I always hope for later in the day. The latest game is my favorite because let me enjoy the day and let me like look forward to the game and still have the possibility of being successful. Versus, you know, I've seen like I watched the game I watched the games at a nearby casino called the Orleans. They have this big room and they, TVs everywhere. And I was with a Michigan State fan a few years ago. And then when they were the 2 seed, first game of the day, they lost to the 15. Man, his whole trip to Vegas was like destroyed. And he couldn't watch any basketball for the rest of it. It was Thursday morning that they lost. I'm like, well, that sucks for you, bud.
I don't blame him. I'd be the same way. Like that absolutely kills you. All right, we're going to wrap it there. We've already gone for 40 minutes. I think obviously a bunch more coming, but yeah, we're a 3 seed. Like ultimately, we're a 3 seed, and it feels a little frustrating because you just lost to Michigan in a game that was very frustrating, and we thought we had a chance at Milwaukee, but you're still a 3 seed. And I think they're like, let's get excited for this because this team can still go on a run. They can still beat a couple teams. And Bama faded a little down the stretch. Like if you're one of those fans that not faded tremendously, but a few teams got them. Like if you want to project out, that's not an impossible matchup either. It is what it is, but we're in March and we're a 3 seed. Let's fire up. Can't wait.
Yeah, just a quick note. We were listed as the last number 3 seed. So we were number 12 overall seed. Iowa State was 10. So and they got Milwaukee. So I think that could be part of it. We were the lowest 3 seed. So maybe, had we won today, potentially we could have been slotted on the Iowa State side. So I guess we'll never know. But yeah, man, let's get into it. Super exciting. What a great content from you today, by the way. You did a show with Nick Osen pregame. You got a quick reaction show. We got the selection show. And then Justin and I are doing tonight on the Bucky Report. We're going to rewind all this again, talk about the whole bracket. We're going to go through some Montana BYU stuff. And then, of course, spring football. That's still out there, too.
Let's go. on Wisconsin. Appreciate you guys so much. Go check out Rajiv and Justin. Football show coming up for tomorrow as well. Bunch of content coming up as always. On Wisconsin, we will talk to you guys later.